right or wrong. There's right and wrong only to the numbers and the contracts and the behind the scene, the administrative. But as far as the creative process and being a creative and being an artist, it's self-expression, and it's to oneself as long as you remain true to yourself, and not because, you know what, I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to post every day and I have to do this every day. No, my life right now isn't even music. You know, it's like I said, it's my sanity and feeling good and being able to ride this wave through.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Anybody else? Czarina, I know there's so many. Is anybody else burned out because you guys were talking about it, and like Anane, like it's so hard to live stream. It's so hard to. I feel like, you know how like when you have to DJ and host the party, so you have to DJ and then you have to run and say hello to everybody. That's what it feels like when you're live streaming, and I feel like, and I feel almost guilty for being relieved in a way, because one of the blessings of COVID is we can just take a deep breath and relax and focus on ourselves. Sometimes the nightlife is just so much. It's just too much for us. And I don't know who's a party girl here, but I used to be a hardcore partier.
Dance floor.
There you go. Now I'm like an old lady. I'm just like, I want to just stay home and watch Netflix. And I'm really scared, to be honest with you, what happens if things go back full 100%. Will I still want to do this? Like, and I feel guilty for that because this is supposed to be my love. So I don't know if anybody else feels that way.
Yeah, it's to share the music, right? I mean, you were saying, Anane, it's hard to feel right about, oh, you know, this is a #1 hit, but when are we going to be on the dance floor together to enjoy this together, to hear it over a loud system?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's a vibe, it's sharing, it's community. So
yeah,
it's great to see it on the charts, Nana, congratulations, but do you get to hear it over the system? That's the party, right?
Yeah, Czarina, I feel the exact same way. Sometimes I feel like, it's interesting that I'm saying this, I feel like a fraud and a phony promoting these streams, and everyone was like, hey, did you watch it? And I mean, it'll have the Fusicology branding on it. It'll be like, people think, and then I'm not even watching it. I do many, much like Anane, I'm on the mat, you know, all the time and really focusing on myself and on health and wellness. And I feel the exact same way, is that, you know, now that I'm in my 40s as well, I feel like when we do come back, which will probably be 2022, which most people on other platforms and Live Nations, weekly Zooms and stuff are saying realistically on the larger scale, do I want to go back to what I was doing? And I've been, you know, taking classes and doing things and really being different. I think that's really important right now. And I don't think you have to feel guilty. I think that it's good to feel like you're growing and evolving.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's a tough game. I always feel like I'm chasing time. There's never enough time in the day for everything that I want to do, and also sleep, and also eat, and also wash my clothes, and also do all the other stuff that, you know, life laundry, my friend used to call it, you know, and it's really hard to kind of maintain everything, like we were talking before, and about, you know, having to take everything on. It's the curse of the competent, you know, because you're able to do it and you can do it, you just do it and you just keep pushing through. But at some point, you know, we're all only human, and you hit a wall. And over the years, as I've gotten older, I've learn to be a little bit better about taking a little bit of mental time, slowing things down a bit. But, you know, with COVID, it was even kind of prior to this, I was sort of thinking about the agency and not ending it, but just rejigging it a little bit or reimagining it, just doing, you know, making some kind of structural changes there, and had not really pushed the envelope on it until all of this hit. And then it really sort of put you in a position where you really got to start, you know, thinking, okay, you know, you got to either make a move here or figure something out. So, you know, I've always been committed.
I want to add something right before you go into the next sentence. See how you said you were thinking, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to cut this off or fix this or remove this? I want to add that one of the things I noticed with women, myself included, anyone I've known that is in a creative anything, women the resilience that women carry, women can pivot in COVID, in sickness, in health, in any circumstances because of the nature of life and society. I really feel that women, as much as COVID was a shock for everyone, there was still a way to master it, like pivot around it. Because I'm hearing like everyone has a way to manage even when it's tough. Do you get what I mean? Like from radio station to your position to Anane to Danby to everyone has a way that naturally you found a way to pivot. And I think it's amazing. It's amazing. But sorry.
I think it's sort of one of those things where when the going gets tough, the tough got to get going, and you just got to make it work. I mean, it's sort of a situation where I got rent to pay, so I got to figure something out, you know? And I'm also a workaholic. So the first 2 months of COVID was sort of like, okay, a little sabbatical. I could take a little break. I've been doing 12, 14-hour days. I can do this. But into that third, fourth month, I was going a little crazy. Like, this is like, I need something to do. I need to figure something out. So, you know, I was hustling on some different things until this thing came up with managing this restaurant, which has been great because, like I say, I can segue some of the musical stuff that I'm doing into it as well in terms of promotions and that kind of thing. So sometimes it's finding a way to still do what you're doing, but also pivot against what you're doing, like leverage sort of what you're doing against other things. And, you know, I'm able to promote to a lot of people in Toronto. A lot of people in the scene have come down to the restaurant and checked it out. And, you know, they want to do events there. And so, you know, there's a way sometimes you can mix it together. Because I've been in the nightclub scene. Like when I was 18, I started really working in the scene at a nightclub, you know, helping the bar back, you know, count liquor and stuff. And then did hostessing, and then was doing, you know, admin, and then booking artists in. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're doing a little bit of everything. So I've sort of had my hand in a little bit of everything when it comes to the business, but I love food as well. And I've always been a huge foodie. So having the opportunity to be able to mix in that food aspect with the nightclub, with the bar, with the music is sort of the best of all worlds. So I definitely like to, you know, see where I can take it. And also, you know, I deal with guys like Derek Carter, DJ Dan, DJ Heather, Colette. I mean, these guys are 25, 30 years in the game. It's like none of us are getting any younger here. So, you know, it's not like anybody's ready to retire tomorrow, but, you know, realistically, you got to think, you know, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 15-year plan. And with COVID, you just got to be thinking, what am I doing tonight? What am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do this week? And, you know, it's a little bit of a difference, more of an immediate adaptation, but you just got to continue to be adaptable because at the end of the day, it's, you know, survival of the fittest, you know, that's foundation of everything, you know, so one way or another, you got to make it happen, work. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Anyone want to add anything else?
I just wanted to add one more thing about health and wellness. I feel like I've for 10 years, I've had a health and wellness idea and a startup that's still a startup, but I feel like now would be a really, really good time to not only pivot and what are we going to do in the music space, but how are we going to get out of this and be better because you know, none of us are getting younger. And also I feel like that lifestyle that we were all leading, like not a lot of sleep, not great food, probably not, you know, that kind of thing, a lot of alcohol. It's not sustainable. So I think now, just wanted to add, now would be a really great time to maybe think about wholeness and wellness as part of what we do in the industry instead of it just being about music.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's something I feel like I've always been conscious of with my artists. 'Cause I know some artists have complained that, you know, with the agents, it's just, they want you to just do everything and just want to, you know, work you like a workhorse type of thing. And with my guys, I'm always very conscious. And especially, you know, a lot of them got kids now and stuff. And I'm always, you know, thinking of their lifestyle, not just about them being a DJ going out to play. It's about, you know, having a balance between that work and home and friends and having a little bit of time off, taking a vacation, you know, type of thing. Because I know when I first started, you know, the business, I was in my early 20s. I didn't take a vacation for like I mean, 8-9 years, you know what I mean? I didn't even know what that word meant, you know what I mean? To take a vacation, you know? So, but I think it's definitely really important, like you said, to be sustainable long-term, you have to have some balance between all those things, because there will be a couple of late nights. There will be a couple of nights with a few extra tequila shots. That's just the reality of the business. But it's how do you, oh yeah, you know, girl. So, but it's how do you balance that with everything else, you know? So there's a way to do it. But yeah, it's like you said, it is difficult. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a great time for everyone to sort of have those conversations. And sometimes it is just about support, you know, and everybody just realizing you're not the only one going through this. We're all struggling on some level to try to make it all happen and juggle everything and keep all the balls up in the air, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's a great idea.
If the
COVID has
clash
made it
between-
acceptable to say, actually, I'm not okay, in a way that maybe it hasn't
Yeah.
been before. Because
Totally.
I know for myself that it took COVID to make me realize that actually I'm trying to work. I'm trying to work on a radio station for 12 hours, do have a job and pay bills and still fly helicopters and make things that I love doing. But it literally took for one day. You know, I went to the beach in my house and I was like, wow, okay, I needed this. I put my swimming costume on, I made cocktails, and I went to the beach at home. It was great. I was in Montserrat. Haven't been there for 10 years. It was absolutely fantastic. But it did hit me that day that it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
Literally. And that was the first time that I said, you know what, I need a break.
Yeah.
I need to sleep more than 2 hours.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. And I dropped a few balls and I panicked because everything's not perfect and it's not and it's not. And I was like, then it was like, do you know what? It just is right now. It is. And I'll rebalance those plates. But right now I need to rebalance me.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, you know, the clash of business and art has always been that's the lifestyle of being an artist. How do you not allow the business angle to, just limit your creativity? However, now with COVID, how are we surviving? It was already pretty precarious going from the vinyl era to digital to streaming. Seriously, like tactile and tangible and holding records, it is, let's say, close to impossible to support yourself in the business without incredible, I think, Asya, you said the support, you still feel it, and it's, you know, it's heartwarming, especially in these times. But if business hasn't, almost crashed into our artistic endeavors this whole time, it's a lot to juggle with COVID too. So I don't blame anyone who's fallen into, a stagnant mode, just writer's block, straight out.
Wow, thank you. Excellent points of view. I want to bring up another topic because I see you everyone's mentioning piece by piece. When you look at your duration, how long? Because everybody's been quoting now 10, 12, 15, 20 years. When you were starting on your journeys, did you anticipate where you would be seeing yourself right here, right now? Because, I'm thinking of how ideas start and then how they grow and build.
I just want to say super quick, I never dreamed I'd be doing this, and here we are. And oh my God, I'm telling you, women, I can't believe I'm on this panel with you. I'm so indie, and thank you. I know you were saying toot your horn. Oh no, if you've worked this hard, we're fucking proud to be here. But still, I just, I think it's not being cross-humbled, but you women are doing big things, and shit, I know.
Jaidene, if you're feeling that way, imagine me. I'm like this little person trying to grow, and I'm reaching out literally like cold and asking all of you can you do this panel? So imagine I'm humbled that all of you are like, yeah, hell yeah, we'll do it. I'm like, yes, I was so excited. So thank all of you. But did anyone, like, what do you feel like as you stand now, looking back all those years? Anything? Thanks, Jaidene. That was good.
I always knew I wanted to do my own thing, but I wasn't sure exactly what it would be. But slowly, yeah, but I always loved music, and my dad used to DJ, my brother's a DJ. I've always been, I grew up around 45s and records my whole life. So it was sort of one of those things that was an interesting transition there. But I was just really lucky to just opportunities come, and you sort of take them as they come. But once I actually started doing the agency stuff, I definitely felt like, all right, this is something I can make happen, and make it into like something really big. But at the same time, it has a boutique feel to it where we're really accessible. We don't come across like one of these, big one of those big conglomerate kind of agencies, and we stay true to our music. We're not about doing anything but the underground house, underground tech, whether it's deep house, whether it's the mushroom jazz, whether it's some kind of eclectic kind of crazy rock kind of hybrid stuff that one of my guys wants to come up with. It's like, I'm all about that. I'm a singer songwriter too, that I was doing that for a long time. So, it's like, it's basically an artist coming from an artist point of view, but also knowing how to do business and being able to sort of fuse those two together. So I'm really happy I've been able to sort of make that happen and have all these amazing people sort of come into my life over the years to keep it happening. Cause like my artists, it's a team effort at the end of the day, it's like, I can't exist without them, and, they can't function as well without me. And so, I'm mama to all of them, and, just handling their business and making it happen, but yeah, I definitely feel blessed for sure. Cause I know a lot of people don't get a chance to really do what they love in life. They do stuff for money, but to be able to wake up every day and pay your bills on something you love is a gift. It really is a gift. So I'm always happy about that.
I mean, I had no plans. I just packed my bag from Rhode Island, and I had $100. I was working a little job with my parents and decided to come to New York City. And I didn't have a place to stay, and I had friends in New York that I met during my rave days. And my rave days coming up to New York City. And I called a friend that I had met, and I said, listen, I'm in New York now, and I need a place to stay. She was like, well, you could stay on my couch. But I knew I wanted to come to New York to escape my little town where all my friends around me were pregnant at 16 and dropping out of school. And my escape was my room, Sundays, 95.5 WBRU, which played soul and classics. And I had headphones, and I just roller skate around my driveway, because my parents were old fashioned. So I couldn't leave the driveway. I couldn't do that. So I was raised, we left my country in exile from Cape Verde. My dad's Portuguese, my mom is Cape Verdean. And during that time, Cape Verde was becoming independent from Portugal and going through a revolution. And so we were threatened to leave. We received death threats. My dad did. They vandalized our home, our car. And we just had to pick up and leave. And I was 3 at the time. We went to Portugal, to Lisbon, being that my dad married a Black woman. His family disowned him. So we had to, move in with my mom's sister. My dad came to the States looking for a better life for us. And so I think resilience as a little girl was instilled in me, but at the same time, the rebellion of, well, because you're a girl, the old fashioned way, you're a girl, so you're supposed to do this, that, and the other. And my dream was to come to New York. And my mom would say, well, not until you're married, and, then you can go with your husband. And I would, once I got my little job, I was a receptionist, I would save up money and cut class and buy a round trip ticket on a bus to New York City. And
what I used to do. That's what I used to do.
I'd come to New York and then get back in time, just in time for my parents. So I would get on I think the 6 a.m. bus, get to New York City, 9:30, walk around New York City and just be like, oh my God, this is where I want to be.
I used to do that.
And pretend that everything was okay. Like, I went to school, how was your day? It wasn't until I auditioned for, it was MTV The Grind at the time. One of the times I escaped, I came up and I was walking, and all I would do, just walk through New York City. I didn't know anyone, but I was just in New York, and I walked by a door and there was an audition sign, come in and audition. So I went in and auditioned, and what did I have to lose? I went back and they called me for a callback, and my mom picked up the phone and she's like, you have a callback for a dance, audition in New York City? And she, I got my butt whooped and being that she whatever. But the point is that I knew I wanted to do something, but not only to do something, but to have a voice. I didn't want to be, because when I came to New York, I did the whole modeling thing, I did the dancer thing, and I wanted to have a voice as a woman coming from a country where I was last because I was a girl. I couldn't compare to my dad, my brothers. And so, and then being of multi-race, and then, it just kept adding on, that I had a hard time growing up and trying to identify myself and who am I and what is my voice and do I have a voice? And so once I saw all around me, my friends, just kind of not going forward, I said, you know what, I'm going to go to New York. And I packed up and I came, and I found Sound Factory Bar, and that became my church. And the underground was my church. But hence, when I was back home, my gay friends introduced me to the underground scene. And that was my place of, I didn't need to have a voice because I was just part of a collective. And I think that's what this music is, and what the underground music is a collective of people, of souls that are moved through the music. And that's why we do what we do and why we're still here. And so I never in a million years would imagine to be in this space today. And then I met Louis, and I would have never in a million years. I mean, I was a fan. My ex-boyfriend was a DJ and was like collected Louis music. And so to see life and what life comes, I believe in living life in an open heart, open mind, open spirit to what comes. And I think if we try to strategically plan life and say, we try to do it maybe 5 years, 10 years, but I think if we stay rigid and this is what has to happen, you kind of have to be able to sway with what life throws at you. And in that way is when possibilities or doors are appeared, and that you can go through and change course of what you thought was supposed to be. Because up until now, I thought it was supposed to be something, but then I thought, you know what? I do remember once I stepped into these shoes, I understood that stepping into the shoes meant that there's a lot of stigma that's going to come with it. There's a lot of ideas or what people think of who I am and why I do what I do and why I'm here and because and she and because. And so if I was to listen to all these voices, and if I was to do my work because of a status quo, I wouldn't be here. And I think all of us can say that we do what we do because it comes from the heart. And sometimes, even though the heart may not be the right decision, if we live truly openly and accepting the new chapters that come, because like we said, we're all getting older. I like to think I'm getting better instead of older. I like to think of myself as becoming a master of myself instead of older. Sure. I'm not the party girl. I'm leveling up. My levels are changing. And as we level in life, we become better, we become wiser, we become stronger. And maybe not in the way that our society says we're supposed to be, but in our hearts, it's knowing that and accepting that. So it's accepting those new chapters. And do I want to be in a club in 5 years playing music? Yeah, maybe as a guest in something special, but that's not where I'd like to be. And so this is the time that's making us all think, okay, what is it? I think we all said that. What is it? Where do you want to be? And where is your heart? And finding it and having those conversations now of, you mentioned restaurant and music and food and coming together. And that's kind of been on my mind too. Like, okay, maybe we can do, go in a different direction. But I think it's important that we all, find our own, accept our own chapters and be okay with all of it and what's to come and embracing all of it. Like I said, I'm not getting older, I'm getting better every day,
Yeah.
every day. And I encourage every woman to take on that, you know, you were saying, you know, little old me. No, little old me is part of a bigger collective. And by what you have done in bringing us together and creates this vibration, it's more than little old me. It's a part of something big, and never downplay oneself. And at the same time, it's not, you know, well, you know, I'm all of that. No, but it's truly embracing who you are and knowing that we each have a voice. Every woman has a voice. Every girl has. We all have a story to tell, and if we can tell it to each other, and if my words can inspire someone, or if I can hear something today that inspires me to get me out of my little shell, then by all means, let's share it.
I think you just said with authenticity, doors will open.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And so for me, or for all of us, I'm sure there's pivotal places that bring you to pivotal people. And, you know, that's the thing. I'm 1 year, a few months away from 40. There were so many people that gave me a chance. And therefore, over this last 20 years, I've been able to give other people just, yeah, like you said, community. We're peers, apples and oranges. I hear you. I used to have a huge complex. I'm a very soft singer. And so powerhouse gospel, this is where house music was birthed. Oh, I was intimidated, but no, naked music though. There was Lisa Shaw, there were, you know, Sade, you know. So yeah, apples and oranges, but people give you opportunities, and if you're fearless and you're ready to fail, that's the thing. I think, well, you got to be ready to fail. You got to be ready to get on stage, and either people, it's not about, oh, they could boo me. They could just not listen. You gotta be ready to, I love this. I'm ready for it to be out there. And yeah, it's gonna resonate with the right people. And I guess my whole career has been every record that came out, another record came out. I wanted to be a voice on a record, and people just kept giving me a chance. So yeah, that's why we're here, you know, in our 40s, right? If that's the collective here, yeah.
For me, it was interesting because I started out going to raves in Toronto in like 93 when I was 14. And I had no idea that I would literally be sort of be doing the same thing in a sense, right? Because I started going out to these raves and I didn't want to pay to get in, or I didn't have the money to pay to get in. So I was offered flyers to promote in my high school in North York, which is now Toronto. Big up.
I know
And
exactly what you're talking about.
I thought I was the bomb because a whole bunch of people, you guys know, would let me in with a line, right? Give me like $40, which was insane amount of money for some like,
right?
And I felt so cool. I even had my name on some of those flyers on Pleasure Force and all those raves. Like,
I remember that.
Was like the shit, you know? And then I'm literally kind of doing the same thing 25 years later, right? I'm still promoting and letting people know about things. I humbly will say, I've never had a day job. I've never went outside of this industry. I just sort of kind of am doing similar things. I also feel that it's all about the people that you know, your networks. And it's all about the way you treat people. You never know who's going to be in what position they're going to be. You know, if it's a little intern or whatever. And I always felt like I hope, and I've never heard otherwise, that I'm always respectful of people, no matter if they're coming up or whatever, or maybe they're an artist that's washed up and that no one really cares about, you know. And I feel like I've always been a part of the underground, and so I've been blessed to kind of, you know, come up from that world and then ended up in LA, and you know, it's crazy, but it's such a blessing to be able to still be doing what it is that you're passionate about so many years later, because I don't have a college degree, so I have no idea what I'd be doing outside.
I was more like Anane. I wasn't allowed to do anything. So I would literally, I used to buy my two-way ticket to New York City. I went to I went to New York the first time at 18, and I did the Greyhound thing, and I left and put pillows under my bed, like I propped it up like a figure. And I had my sister, my mom knows about it now,
like a
but
TV
I had
music.
my sister cover for me. when I was gone, and she just said, yeah, she's really tired. She did a 12-hour shift at Music World, because I used to be a manager at Music World. And the day my mom found out, I was in my 20s by then, and she was like, you've been going to New York all this time? Yes, I have. So I get it. Like, I got into house more as I would do these quick trips. And then I was like, man, I can't wait till I'm older. Then I can just do it without pretending, you know? So there's a journey to the underground always, right?
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
When you see all these people and you're like, oh my gosh, when you're first going to a club, I was the same way in New York. I was just walk off and look at the buildings and this is so cool. Everyone's so much cooler than me. And the Sound Factory, oh my gosh, just, you know, like just put a pillow there and I'll sleep there for the rest of my life. But it's so cool that now when I just didn't realize the legacy that we all have. Like, we're the cool people now, you know, like we're calling shots, you know, we know how to get in, get the line. Well, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I never thought I would know the people. I never thought I would know the DJ, or, you know, starting just like someone just dancing at a club and being overwhelmed, to now we are it. And that's so cool. And it's so cool that you mentioned that, because now we can reflect on it and congratulate ourselves in a way. So yay for us.
No, big congratulations to all of you, because I DJ'd for quite a while in Japan. I knew what it was like, but I'm more of a communicator in marketing PR. So for me, I want to be able to do things like this, where we have discussions and we have more like, let's find out type of programs. And I needed a way to fit in. So I'm like, I want to reach out to different people and see what they're doing and how they do it and incorporate it to what I'm about. So all of you, like, good job. Amazing. Incredible.
See, we're such big fans of the music, though. Like, the theme here we've all expressed. You know, like, if you've been full-time music, Asya, all this time, I've had patches, and thank God, but man, we were fans of the music. And honestly, that's why we would have pursued and stayed in it. And we grind. It's drive as much as work, or maybe more so, because the work, the opportunities will be there for you. Or I definitely wore the promoter, producer, performer hat for the first segment. I was in Calgary, just saying, you know, there's Toronto, there's Vancouver, New York, and London. By the time you get out of your little bubble, it's a really huge, it's a huge climb up. But I would hire DJs and a horn section if I had the budget, but at least one horn. Because again, I'm a little softer, but the horn was the diva on stage, you know, so that fusion, that worked for me. And just starting there, the only thing I realized over time is that if you rock 3 hats, you're not going to kill it at one of them. So eventually, and you ladies, a lot of you had said, find out what it is you want to do, find out which one you want to hone in on and do the best. And therefore you maybe will have a producer, a partner, co-producer, an event manager. And I'll hire musicians. I'm not going to be proud and pretend that I can do it all on my own. And crowdsourcing, I don't know if you are, you know, I'll pay attention or care, whatever go that route. It's the only reason I can make records and hire people and press CDs, press vinyl, pay a mastering studio. Like you were saying, Nneka, on a small budget, but you got to make it look and sound polished.
Exactly. Yeah. Expensive. Totally.
Yeah, it's just, but anyway, we're fans.
Just constant MacGyvering going on, basically.
Absolutely.
Making stuff work, from bubble gum and, you know, rubber bands and stuff all day long. But I remember like growing up in suburbia, and then going just even downtown Toronto from suburbia, like 18, going to my first, you know, buzz and walking in and seeing my first drag queen. And I was like, this is the coolest place ever, and I want to know all these people and what's going on. And it was just this inclusion. And back then too, I mean, it was a huge, massive gay community was what built that scene, you know, and also ethnic gay community. So, you know, it's all at the roots that, you know, everything is kind of built off of. It's you know, it's been exciting to sort of be part of that whole journey of that way back when, and then be part of it now, where, like you say, you know, we're on sort of the front lines of continuing, you know, the legacy of all these people that came before us. You know, the Frankie Knuckles and, you know, all the major heads that really laid the groundwork. So yeah, it's like I said, it's always a blessing, but, you know, it's also a grind. So, you know, but it's kind of nice. Like I think when you guys mentioned earlier too, it's like you realize how like just how special it is, you know. You sometimes, you just because you're grinding every day, you don't realize how great it is until you sort of tell someone what you do. And I always get the same reaction, like, wow, that must be so cool. In the back of my head, I'm like, I guess it is. Even though I'm working 12, 14-hour days, you know what, this is still pretty cool, you know. Like, it's still,
Yeah.
you can see how, you know, it's like, because nobody realizes all the work that goes into, you know, like because I throw a lot of events with the bookings and whatnot all over North America with my guys, and, you know, going to these parties where you're talking to people and you know, they don't realize how much work went into that party, and how you might have to do the door and also schmooze the crowd and also make sure the money's paid and also get the DJs paid, take care of flights, hotels, da. Nobody knows about all that, you know, and you're doing it all. But at the end of the day, you got to smile and be like, yeah, good vibes, man, great party, you know what I mean? And just keep it moving. But every time I throw a party, I tell you, I get that same feeling, even though, you know, we all go through it where you feel like, oh, such a grind. Like, am I going to keep doing these parties and keep doing this stuff? But every single time that party starts rocking and people are vibing and you feel the energy and it starts getting sweaty, you're like, this is why I do this. And I get reminded every single time, and it reels me back in. And I can't go. So it's like, I'm addicted. What can I say? So yeah, you're talking about getting, like we're saying, getting older. Like you say, even though it's older, we are getting finer and more refined, I think. And, you know, just, you know better. When you know better, you do better kind of thing. But at the same time, I hope in, you know, 10, 15 years, I'm still rocking a dance floor, because I miss putting on my heels and rocking it. I'll tell you that. I do miss a sweaty dance floor. So I'm waiting for post-COVID for sure. It'll happen.
Like everything, every performance, every album, every event, you're gonna like, no, it's the last one. Every single fundraising campaign, the amount of work that goes to prep the campaign, then run the campaign. And I mean, my ego and just, oh God, you're like, ego in the way that it's good. It humbles you, it checks you. Am I coming from the heart? Is this for me or is it for everyone? Do I have something to offer? But every single campaign, I'm sweating bullets, just going, I'm never going to fucking do this again. Every time the album comes out, I'm like, thank God I have music in my life. Like, I wouldn't be alive without it, you know?
Totally.
Well, and going back to saying, you know, where we are in our space and legacy and carrying on what we loved and what we discovered and where we found our place. About 3 weeks ago, I played a party in Brooklyn. So now they're doing, you know, they're doing that limited capacity, you know, they're doing what they can. So it was the first time I played in 7 months. I mean, it was like the orgasm of my life. But what was even more amazing were the kids that were there, which were who I was. It was really young kids just vibing to the music. The kids that were the ones that were looking where to go, finding the music, because that's what they needed. And so to see that and to experience that, and me being on the other end now and playing music for little me that used to escape to New York, and to see, you know, the thrift store fur coats and
I love it. It's all coming back.
It was so amazing and made me say, you know what, you're on your path. You're right where you're supposed to be. And it felt amazing to see that there is the generation behind coming up that need and are curious and want to hear it, and it's not going anywhere. It's not dying, you know. As much as we think we're just stuck in this moment in time, but things will come back. And seeing that really made me understand, you know what, it's just a matter of time before it all comes back. So it was pretty amazing to be on the flip side of that situation.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We are now at 4:15, so there's 15 minutes left. I think we have one question. So what I wanted to do was just conclude, and then we ask that one last question. What I want to say again and reiterate is I admire all of you, and the fact that when you do what you do, you give way more than is required, and it shows in everything that you do. Your music releases, your interaction with the public, the legacy that you've built. It's amazing. Thank you. with all the changes, the drastic changes that have been going on with the COVID, the sign of the times, I want any participants that are watching, especially if you're young women, young people, these are ways for you to stay resilient. And they've repeated these things over and over again in today's session. So as an artist, I want the young folks, the next gen, to sort of hang on to this because it's very important. And these are the things that can help you stay the course. Another thing is, if you are a poet, a spoken word artist, a writer, you do promotions as a next gen young person, I want you to know that you can move in and around spaces, because at some point today, all of the panelists have talked about where they started, where they've been. So don't feel limited or boxed in, especially now is the best time to experiment with different things. Also, I wanted to say big shout out to Nicole Madaber, Ultra Nate, and Crystal Waters. Those are some also phenomenal women too who are killing it with labels, making labels, touring, DJing, production. So shout out to them if they ever catch this. And I just want to say finally that there are so many ways to build underground culture and keep the legacy alive. So don't let it die with COVID, okay? So with that being said, we have one question, I think, that's sitting in there. Okay. Oh, it's a question for Anane. DJ Shondati, Shonda Trent. What projects does Anane have coming up, or if any?
Well, I think I mentioned that in the beginning.
At the time, before.
An album, Chapters of Becoming Anane, which is a collection of work, of my work over the last 20 years. That's out. And then the disco EP, which we're working on now, Get on the Funk Train, is out. We've got 3 others to do. So we're working on that. And then just the label, I got music coming out on both Nulu and Nulu Electronic, DJ Kwame from South Africa, Stefano Ranieri from Italy, and just keep the label going and, you know, working to see, as we mentioned all here on the panel, we mentioned about what is the next step post-COVID and what do we want to do. So there's different projects. I've written a movie. It's in treatment form at the moment. Working on a book. So there's different things, but you know, like I said, the creative juice is not really there right now. So I'm just working to maintain and stay good and healthy and sane.
It'll come back around.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So does anyone have anything to say? Any questions, remarks for each other? We have about 10 minutes left.
I do.
Yes.
What do you guys think about the virtual space? You know, because right now we're just exploring DJing in games and DJing in virtual clubs. So at the minute we're putting together our first virtual event. So the people that have Oculus glasses, you can actually go to the club.
I've heard of those.
Talk
Yeah.
to each other.
Nice.
Yeah. I've heard about that. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Because I suppose for me right now, you know, there are gamers online, but gamers listen to music. You know, so my thing is, it's a new space. It's a new space for musicians to maybe sell music. It's a potential revenue stream for labels. And right now, we're literally just talking to labels. Let us use your music here. Any money we make virtually, you get 25% off, and the label share that. What do you guys think about? Because I think as well as bringing some negatives, that COVID is making us look at technology in a very different way.
Yeah, it's true.
This is my very first time on Zoom. I won't even lie.
Welcome.
I've been teaching preschool and kindergarten music for a few years now, so I was only on, Zoom with them helping homeschool. However, is this mostly for DJs? Like maybe Anane, do you feel like singing it's a thing. I'm sure that you and Louie and, the musicians you have around you, I feel like online is a good space for DJs. Do you guys feel the same versus, I don't know, performers?
It depends on the platform, because I've heard, people have issues with things on like Zoom because we're doing some actually private events where you could book the DJ for a private Zoom party, for instance, and just for a private sort of thing. So that's something we're kind of segueing a few things into, but it seemed to work better over Twitch or YouTube as opposed to Zoom. So sometimes, like you say, if you're on the gaming thing with Twitch, I think that's where a lot of that interesting cross-pollination has been happening, where the music and the gaming. And I've heard of another platform where you can go in a virtual club. And so there's a lot of interesting things coming out, which I think it's, if you've got a niche that you can make it happen and you've got people that are going to respond to that, go for it. What's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work. You do something else. But I'm all about right now, you got to throw as much at the fridge as possible, because something is going to stick. But you can't just sit and, in the time that you can wonder about it, you could be doing it. So right now I'm in like go, do mode. If I'm thinking it, I'm doing it 2 minutes later. So I think you got to hustle. Yeah.
We haven't done much live streaming, but in regards to perform, because I don't want to look at DJ's crutches. Your room's dirty.
A lot of my guys aren't into it, to be quite honest.
And your room's dirty. Give me a performance. I can play those records myself. Thank you very much. But in terms of performance, I think it's a whole different ballgame. Somebody picks up a mic and they're singing, be it in the camera or they're on stage. There's an emotional exchange that you get, and you still get it through the technology. We've just literally putting together this vocal mixtape where DJs, instead of having a DJ play music, you get a shot of the DJ, but you move from vocalist to vocalist because it's a vocal mix.
Cool, yeah.
And it gives a complete different feeling for me. It gives a completely different feeling. It's like, because you go to a club, you're not going to get 12 vocalists on stage at any one time. It costs too much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true too. I can get Anane. I can get Jaidene Vega in one DJ mix. And as a punter at home watching that, wow, I think that's amazing. Technology has meant that we can do that.
Yeah. No,
so a lot of platforms coming up. I'm a techie. I'm like a baby coder. I'm not like a programmer, but I know some stuff like futurestream.tv is a good example where they allow you to keep 90% of your ticket sales, and you can create little wonderful VIP rooms. So, you can right. And then you can get paid off that. And then also what's great about platforms like this is that you can also create packages. So let's say a limited edition t-shirt. So we're doing the 20th anniversary of Jay Dilla's release on BBE Records this February. And we just got on the phone with them today to discuss because at first it's like, okay, sure, you're going to have people talk to each other. And, I knew Dilla and of course we're going to try to get some celebrities on there. But the big thing is that it's all about exclusivity. So an exclusive t-shirt, poster, maybe even some sort of, obviously vinyl is expensive, but that's primary. So I think that it's about getting creative about what you can do. And I love Twitch, but Twitch is owned by Amazon. I love Instagram, but Instagram's owned by Facebook. And you're on these platforms, you're giving them the traffic, as opposed to, I think, all these technologies like FutureStream that allow it to sort of be embedded on your website, and then also you can make money.
Interesting.
So those are some good things. And I think the technology is going to be off the charts. Everything that I'm seeing right now, the amount of companies that are getting funded, seed funding all the way to Series A and B, I think we're going to see a lot in 2021 and moving forward with these solutions for people that maybe even aren't able to go out anymore, right? Maybe the lives have changed, and even then when things get back to the new normal, I think it's going to be all about streams and all about the ability to make substantial money from them.
And what about the combination of the two? Sorry.
No. Maybe all of you, but Anane, you talked about finding your voice, and that's more than, singer-songwriters. The thing that doesn't stop right now, and whether or not, we've all admitted, we can be drained. We have to be sensitive to everyone and everything going on right now. But the one thing we can keep doing is telling stories. So you were just saying, you know, celebrating on BB, that's dope. So congrats. But yeah, I'm actually putting together a mini documentary with the 2020 project as well, everyone who's on it. People that, again, producers, labels, remixers, I'd never have dreamed of working with, and their voices in this conversation, considering the times and considering their journeys, how they've evolved over, you know, again, some of you 10, 20, 30 years, maybe more. What we're doing today, I think this is the point. I want to share stories with fellow women. It doesn't have to be women, but I want women to feel like you don't have to see a lot of other women in the game to go be yourselves in the game. Find your voice, find your platform, find your passion, and work against your limits, and let your ego keep you humble. I think the word ego comes off in such a, yeah, such a dark way to people, but no, like shine. Your ego will keep you humble, is how I've come to feel.
Oh, it's just getting so good, and we're at 4:27. It's done in about 3 minutes. I just want to thank you all for being a part of the Shein Project Presents. This is not the first, and it won't be the last inspired event of its kind. I look forward to working with all of you as we all move forward to the coming years, and please stay in touch, and love you guys. This has been amazing. It's been great. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks. Thanks for having us.
Everyone.
Thanks,
Take care,
guys.
everyone.
Take care,
Bye.
everybody.
Take care,
Bye.
guys.
Take care of
Yes.
yourselves.
Be well.
Stay safe.
Yes.